Thanks for joining us, and don't forget we're streaming live on Facebook. Now, teachers and students of Parkoso Community Day Senior High School in the Ashanti region are compelled to improvise due to lack of furniture. Some students are compelled to sit on the bare floor during lessons. Lack of a science laboratory is also taking a toll on science education in the school located in the Asokore-Mampong municipality. Authorities fear the situation, among others, many other challenges can affect overall academic performance unless there is an intervention. Today on Joy News Agenda, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin assesses conditions in the newly built school in the second year of operation.
Parkoso Senior High School is one of the educational facilities built by the NDC government under President John Dramani Mahama. This and over 40 other such structures have been hailed as beautiful and timely for the implementation of the free senior high school policy. It has provided opportunity especially for children in areas who otherwise could not afford education outside of their immediate environment to go to school. Like many other schools, however, its running is replete with many challenges, especially at the inception of free senior high school. No furniture in both the classrooms and library, and students sit on the bare floor.
The situation here is very worst. You can see more than 10 students are sitting on the floor. They are writing their notes on the floor and they are doing their class work on the floor. I mean, some of them tell me that they cannot even concentrate because they've been sitting on the floor for about 2 months now, and the situation is getting worse. They want government to come to their aid.
I feel really sad when I'm sitting on the floor because when I'm writing, I don't even see on the board. You know, I'm really short, and you can see my friends here. So we are pleading the government to bring more facilities for us so that we can learn. That's all what I have.
We feel very bad when we are sitting on the floor, but we want the president to give us plenty chairs for us to learn. Thank you.
So, my name is Fatah Suleiman. Actually, the situation of the school is very poor for us. When we come to school, we don't get tables and chairs. We go to other classes to get some tables and chairs to come and sit it. So others, they shouldn't allow us to take their tables and chairs to come and sit it.
So let me speak to the girl here. She has also been sitting on the floor for about how many months now?
3 years, 3 weeks now.
3 weeks now. You've been sitting on the floor for 3 weeks now.
Yeah. So we are suffering. When we learn, we forgot it. So we can't concentrate what the teacher will taught about it. When we cannot write well as well. So we need the government to help us to come and give us a chance to sit on it.
So that is the situation here. You have heard all that the students have to say, and all they want is authorities to come to their aid and make sure this particular problem is solved.
Even the headmistress's office is empty without chairs for visitors. A lot of books for the library, but sadly, students have no place to sit and make use of the facility. They are compelled to share chairs in twos and even threes.
It doesn't feel well because even now we cannot write.
I'm not feeling well. So why? Because we don't have plenty chairs and table. Because if they didn't bring chairs, why did we have to learn?
You are about 40 something, almost 50, but the assignment I have on my table is less than 30. You didn't do it. So how come you didn't submit it?
Madam Milna Tahiru is the English tutor here.
So how do you feel? I mean, you've seen some of your students sitting down on the floor. How do you feel about this?
It's actually pathetic because as a teacher and then as a parent, you come to class and you see your students sitting on the ground learning. It's actually not nice looking at them that way, because most of the time when you are dictating notes or when you are giving a note, the class is not effective because most of them, they can't write because of the way they are sitting. You can see they can't write the notes. And then when you give an assessment, when you give a class exercise or something, most of them, they can't do it. Because there are more than this, there are about 50 students, but you can see they are less than 50. Most are out. When you complain, they will tell you, madam, no chairs. Madam, you can't sit on the floor. And sometimes you can't blame them because you can't come to school and then you sit on the floor and learn. I don't think it's possible. So that is it. And then the way they are patching. So when you give them work, they copy each other. If this person is writing this, that is the same thing the other person too will write. So it's making our teaching, should I say, very difficult. It's
class captain. Don't look into the book. The students, when you go to classroom, when a teacher enters the classroom, the first thing that you should consider is the classroom setting. So if I come to class and the students, some are sitting on the floor, some are not having chairs to sit on, it disturbs a lot. Before even you can be able to arrange them to suit the lesson, it will take about 5 or 10 minutes of your time. It doesn't facilitate learning.
It is time for lunch, and the students are here to take what is due them, their meal, nicely queued and waiting to be served. Mr. Adam Idrisu is in charge.
We have around 720 students. On daily basis, every day they'll bring their food and then they'll serve them. And then I think that for the food aspect, I think we don't have much problem with them. The food is nutritious and it's also delicious.
But what if there was properly arranged venue for these students?
The basic problem that we have is that where the children are supposed to sit and eat their food, you don't have a canteen or you don't have a place where they are supposed to sit and eat their food. That's the basic problem that we are having here. All this you can see for yourself, once they take the food, they'll just go and then sit anywhere and then eat it. Because of that, we have problem. And then when they come here, because they don't have a structure, that they have to go there and then take their food there. They'll come and then form the queue, they'll join the queue and then take the food. It delays. We are supposed to use 30 minutes for the break, but because of the nature of the structure, we don't have a place for the students to sit there and then eat. Once they come, they will join the queue. It can take them 50 minutes to 1 hour.
The situation is no different at the computer lab.
We don't have enough chairs and enough computers. We need more enough chairs and enough computers. So Harun Adnan, in charge of that, is the head of department for that ICT at Kwakuso Senior High School. What we need is a table and desk.
Stray animals evade the school every day. The school has an empty laboratory. Nothing is here for science students to undergo practical training. Madam Alice Opoku Ajay is the headmistress of the school.
We have science laboratories, about 4 of them, and they are not complete, so we can't use them. So it's a challenge for us. Complete at all, no. Economics too, we have started the home economics, but they also don't have their equipment to teach, and it's affecting their studies. Common room and the facilities, without that, they find it difficult to mark their exercises, to find a place to even read more. Even though the library is there, they can't go there because the library too, we don't have furniture now. Since problems include the furniture, tables and chairs, we were having 800, but now they are very small for the school.
Until help comes to this school and alleviate the challenges, students may have this way for much longer. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reporting.
And the values and attitude toward political system.
Now, away from that story, 16 suspected drug peddlers have been arrested in a joint swoop at Medina and Accra for unlawful possession and sale of prescription drugs. Now, 15 out of the 16 suspects are Nigerians, with the other a Ghanaian. They are aged between 16 and 30 years. The drugs seized included aphrodisiacs, meal-enhancing drugs, dewormers, and analgesic drugs like tramadol. They are currently in police custody. Briefing the media after the operation, the Director of Communications for the FDA, James Lartey, said it has become necessary for the war against drug abuse, especially tramadol.
The Food and Drugs Authority is very much concerned about the public health and safety issues. And we have come together with other institutions like SEPS, the police, the BNI, IOCO, and other institutions. We organize this troop to ensure that products that are being sold on the market, but in the first place, illegal dealers, people that have not been licensed to sell them, that's the first people we wanted to target. Secondly, whether the products are registered products. Thirdly, where they are being sold, whether they are approved premises. These are the things that we are looking at. Again, the issue of tramadol is being a worrying situation to us and other institutions. And we felt that there was a need to do a swoop to make sure that people that are dealing in this tramadol, which has been established that is being used by especially students, and it's creating a whole lot of problems. Tramadol, this is a sample that I'm having here. It is a painkiller. The FDA has, but the one that FDA rested is 100 milligram and 50 milligram. But the one that you find on the market currently is around 200 milligram upwards, which has not been approved by the FDA. Secondly, it's been established that this tramadol is seriously being abused. What is happening is that students take it. I don't want to prescribe how it's being used. So people that are not using now want to go and use it. But let me just establish the fact that it is something that is being abused, and we want to discourage that.
Now moving on, the 100,000 people to be employed under the Nation Builders Corps can rest assured they will enjoy their jobs till retirement. This assurance was made by the Deputy Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Bright Rekrubobe, who also explains these programs are expected to contribute to the growth of the nation's GDP, enabling the country to absorb more people into the Corps as the years progress. Mr. Rekrubobe, however, added government is yet to dedicate specific funding streams to the program.
There is no job like permanent job. People get jobs, and even on the job, they decide at some point in their lives to do one or two things differently. So not necessarily saying that permanent as in the person stuck to it till retirement. But if somebody wants to be on the job till retirement, that will be an option. This is a program that is targeting building the nation. And as people work to enhance productivity and give it up, this is where they are also going to contribute to the GDP of the country. And certainly, yes, monies will be generated and sustain this program, as in all employment that we have here in Ghana. The creation of the 100,000, as we are targeting in 2018, it is not, for example, in January, we are going to roll out 100,000 jobs. No, we already have a backlog. We have a backlog of graduate unemployment, and that is what certainly we need to address. So these programs and interventions will be rolled out in phases. So certainly not the 100,000 per se at a go, but we are targeting that the backlog of unemployed graduates that we have, we are going to ensure we put them in these strategic sectors to reduce that drastically. And so if they are in employment and more of them are coming on year by year, we seek to roll them on. So it is not as if the 100,000 that is in the budget is going to be done by end of January or February. It is something that is programmatic. So we are thinking through, and will seek to be rolling them out, especially in the 5 thematic areas where we seek to put people in the health sector, people in the agri sector, people in the teaching field, people in the sanitation model, and so on and so forth. So it is us And when we are coming up to see these are the gaps that we have to fill, and these are the people ready for the jobs, and then we roll them. So it is not a one-go project that this is what we are going to do, and by end of February we get there. We are going to seek to roll them gradually and ensure that we cover up to about 100,000 of these unemployed graduates. But as the program implementation takes office and we start rolling, we would see how far we can go before the end of year 2018. The contemplation of this idea has come with that funding initially to be committed in the budget. As we roll out, there will be more thinking through and how Ghanaians will buy into it and how we will come up with a more sustainable funding for this initiative.
The Deputy Minister assures teeming Ghanaians the program will not employ people on partisan lines.
Normally, people are very insecure, especially when things have been done in the past and they were faced and confronted with certain events and situations which they didn't admire. I recall a couple of years ago, our colleagues on the other side had a symposium or brought their people together and targeted them that we want to create jobs for NDC boys and girls. This is a departure from what our colleagues have done in the past. Remember, we have done 2-3 job openings since we came this year. And you recall, in the local government service, for example, you see a whole graphic page advertising and allowing everybody to apply and be on board. The next was GRE. They had a whole page. Meanwhile, these were discussed as a government that there are job opportunities for which we need to fill gaps. But in order to be fair to all Ghanaians, opportunities were opened widely for everybody to apply and be so. And the president has on several occasions made it clear that he's living up to what his oath of allegiance. It is to Ghana and not to one particular party. I must tell you that most of our boys and girls in the MPP are not happy the way we, the leadership, are going about things and having even spread of everything for everybody. But that is what we have to do. That's what we are faced with. We must not let any youth be disadvantaged because his father or mother belongs to another political party. No. These are all Ghanaians and Ghanaian children, and we must target them in everything that we do.
Still watching Joy News today. I am Daniel Daze. Time for a quick breather. We'll be back shortly. Thanks for staying with us. Now, according to the World Health Organization, more than 90% of extremely preterm babies born in low-income countries die within the first few days of life, whereas less than 10% die in high-income settings. Every year, an estimated 15 million babies are born preterm, which is defined as babies born alive before 37 weeks of pregnancy are completed. Patricia Gasu has been speaking to some mothers of preterm babies as well as health professionals.
For some mothers, the pain of having a premature baby is almost as traumatizing as miscarriage. We caught up with a mother whose baby is still in an incubator.
Did you know you were going to go through this?
No, I didn't know.
What happened?
I was in the house, I started feeling pains. But initially I was told it's the baby 10, and so I was okay. But I realized, after 2 days, the pains were too much. So I had to be rushed to the polyclinic. That was where the doctor said the baby's hand was already out, so I had to be rushed to Kolebu. Within 10 minutes, I delivered, but nobody said anything. They only said, okay, look at your baby. Is he a boy or a girl? I said a boy. Okay, so we are taking him to Nico. That was the first time I even heard of Nico.
Esther delivered triplets before 37 weeks. She only returned with one.
Well, because I had multiple pregnancy, I had triplets in me. So
let's start this way. Tell me your story.
Yes. So I was pregnant with triplets, and I was positive throughout the pregnancy. I was fortunate to have family members who were in the medical field and are still in the medical field. So they were kind of conscientizing me that because it's a multiple gestation, anything could happen.
Dr. Hilary Ando-Nice with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital explains what causes premature birth.
So to start with, if we say a baby is born preterm, it means that the baby is born before 37 weeks of gestation. There are several causes of preterm births. Notable amongst them are hypertension in pregnancy, diabetes in pregnancy, infections in the mother, so urinary tract infections and other infections in the mother, malaria whilst the mother is pregnant, and also anemia and poor maternal nutrition.
Okay. I've seen a number of babies here, so averagely how many cases are recorded?
So generally about 50 to 60% of the admissions in NICU are preterm births.
Patricia Gassus reports.
Let's stay with issues having to do with pregnancy and childbirth, because pregnant women are being cautioned against excessive alcohol to avoid complications that can deform their unborn babies. Health experts say children of alcohol-abusing parents are susceptible to what is referred to as fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. Beverage company Accra Brewery is leading a nationwide sensitization campaign for pregnant women at major health facilities. Prince Apia witnessed one of the sessions at Komfanochi Teaching Hospital in Kumasi, from where he filed this report.
Fetal alcohol spectrum disorders are a group of conditions characterized by facial deformities, behavioral and learning problems. Ms. Juliana Bosompra is Deputy Director of Nursing Services, Obstetrics and Gynecology Department at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. She warns pregnant mothers to desist from taking alcohol during pregnancies to safeguard mothers and their unborn babies.
Some people will tell you, oh, as for let me take some small amount of alcohol, because it passes through the bloodstream, so it goes through, it passes through the umbilical cord, and the baby can get it straight. You can get cleft palate, the hearing impairments. The brain can develop well when you drink alcohol during pregnancy. The advice given to them, they shouldn't drink alcohol at all, whether in small quantity or they consume it in large quantity. It can affect the baby.
She said this when Accra Brewery Limited extended its alcohol and pregnancy program, which sensitizes pregnant women on the health condition, to the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. The program, organized in partnership with the Reproductive Health Outpatient Department of major health facilities across the country, has so far impacted over 3,000 women. Cyrus DeGraff Johnson is the Corporate Affairs Manager of Accra Breweries Limited.
Because we as a company believe that alcohol is supposed to be enjoyed by adults only, and also for some people who will be responsible in not abusing it. But in this particular case, we think that it is totally a no-go area for any pregnant woman or anybody expecting pregnancy or lactating to go near alcohol, because we believe that no amount is too small for a pregnant woman. So we are trying to prevent this. We've been doing this for the past 4 years. We started in Kolebu, 37, Police Hospital, we went to Kofredua, we've gone to other places in Accra, and so far we've had a very good response from the pregnant women. The hospital authorities have been very cooperative, and we intend to continue. It's a 3-day thing. We started yesterday, today, and we'll end it on Friday.
Ms. Juliana Bosompra therefore extended her appreciation to ABL for leading the charge against fetal alcohol spectrum disorders.
Very good educative, and it has helped us and the clients also. It's very good that if we can get it even monthly or us, that we'll be able to talk with their help, we'll be able to talk to the clients.
Prince Apia reporting.
Back to the capital now, and a tertiary education institution located at Kanda, Accra, Mount Crest University, officially launched a chapter of Youth for Human Rights Africa, YORA. Francis Xavier Sosu, president of YORA, invigorated Ghanaians, especially the youth, not to be silent on violence and also help governments to promote human rights.
One of the things that leads to violations in every society is when people begin to be silent over violations. When you see injustice occur in our society, we need to talk about them. In fact, one of the essence of freedom of expression is that we must go out there to talk about violations that go on. For example, when we see people who are being, like children who are being defiled, we must talk about it. When you are in a church where a pastor is abusing children, we must talk about it. If you are living in a community where chiefs are abusing, inhabitants or the citizens of the area or people living in that community, we must talk against it. When the judiciary is giving, when we see injustice in the judiciary, we must talk against it. When we see injustice in the police service, we must talk against it. Wherever we see injustice as people living in this country, we should be able to speak against it. And this is the reason why I said that we must break the culture of silence. I want to encourage all the young men and women who are becoming human rights ambassadors through the Youth for Human Rights Advocacy, Youth for Human Rights, Africa, that even though the potential of being harmed or potential of being endangered is there because you promote human rights, they should not give up that fight. Because anytime you give up that fight, we endanger our society. Promotion of human rights is what ensures equal opportunities for everybody in our society.
Still watching Joy News today, let's deal with some more stories now. Technology has made life easier. Mobile phones, for instance, are being used to improve productivity and communication. Access to mobile phones has, however, affected Ghanaians as many people using the device spend more time on it. Joy News' Frank Addo has been exploring the impact of mobile phones on Ghanaians and has come through with this report.
The mobile phone was first produced by a Motorola researcher, Martin Cooper, in 1973. Now, the once uncommon device is a household gadget, making life and communication better and more effective. Statistics available to the National Communication Authority shows there are more than 35 million handsets currently being used in Ghana as at 2016. One worrying trend is the addiction to this device by Ghanaians.
Actually, I've been staying on my phone for about 3 hours, sending SMS to customers. I make some research on my own with the phone.
The phone is my life. If the phone is my phone is off, I don't feel comfortable always, you see. So my phone helped me a lot. Maybe sometimes I may be lonely. The phone, that will prevent me from my lonely situation.
Of late, phone has become, let's say, it has been part of my life. I think for every 3 or 5 minutes, I check.
I turn to my mobile phone when I have phone calls. But hence, when I'm on a busy schedule, I put it off. Because of a lot of reasons, I stay on a mobile phone, maybe for entertainment, maybe for research purposes. So I have various reasons for staying on my mobile phone, and I think I use my mobile phone about 18 hours a day.
Looking at the global village today, phone is the easiest computer device that can be used to connect people all over the world. So with anything other, if you have a phone, you have everything, because you can use your phone for researches and other academic works, just as the computer. So if the computer is not readily available, you can apply or substitute the phone for the computer.
Some users agree despite the mobile phone being a great companion, it can wreck homes and affect productivity at work.
I remember at a point in time, immediately I come to work, I want to switch on my Wi-Fi, I want to know all the things that have gone on, and you plan your day, you come to work, and before you realize you are on WhatsApp, you want to answer all the calls, you want to answer all the messages. At a point in time, I realized it was affecting my productivity. So I came to the realization that I need to discipline myself to use this phone. And when I decided to do that, I realized my productivity towards work has also changed. So it always boils down back to self-discipline.
That's made us more, in fact, better liars, more adulterous, worse flirtatious. We have become something else as human beings. We have come to love the virtual persons on phone than our couples. Married people get into their homes when they have to spend time with their family after a very long day's work, and you find the husband on phone on one corner and the wife also lying another place on phone, and children don't know who to help them even in their homework. Between the two of them, they hardly talk because everybody is fixed on another person on the other side of the phone, and communication, which the phone is supposed to aid, is now being broken by the same phone.
So how does this affect the eyes? Dr. Elvis Asante is an ophthalmologist.
Most of the time when we are using this thing, we don't move our eyes from it. And then the thing is almost close to the eye. So thereby we strain the eye. Every normal eye is supposed to blink 10 to 15 times in 1 minute. That's blinking rate. Some books, they vary. Some will say 10, some will say 10 to 15, some will say 15 to 20. So let's say 15. So every normal eye should blink 15 times within 1 minute. So when you don't blink, because you are so enthused with the phone, you're so focused on what you're doing on the phone, you are depriving the eye from being covered by this tear film. Because when you blink, then the tear, the part of the tear that is produced upward over there will come and cover the eye. So you see, most of the time, people who use this kind of thing, they experience burning sensation on the eye, like pepper has entered their eye. And sometimes you feel like there's sand particles on the eye because they are not blinking. If you blink, the tears will come and cover your eye so that you don't feel that your eyes are dry, so that you don't feel that there is sandy sensation on the eye.
Well, whatever you use the device for, please make sure you don't fall prey to its negative effects. For Joy News, Frank Addo.
And this is where we draw the curtains on today's bulletin of Joy News Today. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Daniel.